My name is Wilma. This morning, I was jolted awake by a furious call from my former mother-in-law, Mrs. Thompson. I can't believe you missed your husband's surgery. You're a terrible daughter-in-law. This is unacceptable. She shrieked as soon as I picked up the phone. I was utterly confused. What are you talking about? I don't have a husband or in-laws, I replied, still half asleep. Wilma, what nonsense are you spouting? You're married to Henry, aren't you? Have you finally admitted that you're completely unfit to be a wife? She demanded, her voice trembling with rage. Taking a deep breath, I calmly said, haven't you heard from Henry? We're already divorced. The stunned silence on her end was almost comical, but the real drama was yet to unfold. Let me take you back to the beginning. After graduating from a community college in a small town, I moved to Chicago to work for a well-known marketing firm. The city was bustling, and my first job was both intimidating and exciting. I was more eager and ambitious than anxious. Every day, I'd jot down everything I learned and plan my next steps. My dedication didn't go unnoticed, and within a year, I was given more responsibilities. As new employees joined the company, I naturally became a senior and started mentoring them, just as I had been mentored. One of those new hires was Henry. He had a master's degree from a top-tier university and was well regarded in the industry even before he joined our company. I was enthusiastic and motivated at that time, and I was assigned to be his mentor. Henry was incredibly intelligent. He quickly grasped all the knowledge I shared with him, and it was so rewarding to see him apply it effectively. We started spending time together after work, and I found myself enjoying his company more than anything. He felt the same way. One day, a co-worker noticed us hanging out after work every day and asked, "Hey, are you two a couple?" I laughed and said, "No, it's nothing like that." But Henry looked at me directly and said, "I actually want to date Wilma." The co-worker then turned to me and asked, "How about you, Wilma?" Shyly, I replied, "I want to date Henry." With the company's approval, we started dating. 2 years later, we got married, and our colleagues showered us with blessings. After our wedding, I told Henry, I love my job and feel fulfilled by it. I want to keep working. He smiled and said, "Of course. I fell for you because of your passion. I'll take care of things at home from now on." His support meant the world to me, and we agreed on a dual-income lifestyle. However, Henry's mother, Mrs. Thompson, wasn't on board. During our first New Year's visit to their home after marriage, she confronted me. "Wilma, when are you going to quit your job?" she asked bluntly. I politely responded, "Like I've said before, I love my job and I want to keep working." She insisted, "You've been married for a year. It's time to start having children and leave the job to your husband. Being a good wife should be your top priority." I tried to explain, "Henry and I have talked about this." But she retorted dismissively, "He's just being nice. You shouldn't make him do the housework." Despite my best efforts to reason with her, she wouldn't listen. Fortunately, Henry intervened. "Hold on, Mom. Wilma and I have discussed this thoroughly." Mrs. Thompson muttered, "Ah, fine, but that doesn't change the fact that Wilma is pushing things too far." Henry said firmly, "I'm happy with our life. If any issues arise, we'll talk about them." Reluctantly, she dropped the subject. I quietly thanked Henry, and he reassured me, "No, I should apologize. If my mom gives you trouble again, let me know." Although I was still worried about Mrs. Thompson, Henry's kindness made our newlywed life enjoyable. A few months later, I was offered a promotion. I excitedly told Henry, "Guess what, Henry? I'm getting promoted in April." He raised an eyebrow and asked, "To manager?" "Yes, my boss noticed my hard work," I said, expecting him to share my excitement. But his reaction was completely unexpected. He looked upset. "Wilma, whose credit is that?" he asked coldly. I was stunned. What do you mean? Isn't it because I take care of the housework that you can focus on work? How can you be promoted before me? You're holding back my career, he snapped bitterly. I was confused. This wasn't the Henry the First knew. Wait, didn't you agree that I could balance work and home life? I reminded him. He scoffed, balance? The housework only gets done because of me. Can you really say you're balancing work and family? You're not a good wife. I felt hurt and protested, that's not true. His next words were harsh. If you can't manage the housework properly, why don't you just quit your job and focus on being a wife? Desperate, I said, I don't want to quit my job. My boss saw how hard I work. I'll do better at home, too. I decided to take over all the housework myself, hoping to win Henry's approval. But things only got worse. One evening, he criticized the dinner. Did you just grill me for dinner? He asked. I was surprised. No, it's sautéed pork. He sneered, isn't that just a shortcut? You only cook simple meals because you're working, right? Henry started staying out late, claiming he was going to work-related drinking parties. We grew further apart. I suggested, Henry, why don't we have dinner together sometimes? We haven't talked much lately. But he snapped, what? I don't want your lazy meals. At work, he started complaining about my housework, and he even told his mother. Mrs. Thompson's attitude towards me became even more hostile. Wilma, you said you'd handle the housework yourself, but it seems like you haven't been cooking at all lately, she criticized. I explained, Henry hasn't been home. She replied coldly, excuses don't suit you. Your husband doesn't come home because you're not taking care of the house. A wife should create a home he wants to return to. Defeated, I muttered, I'm sorry. She concluded, from the start, Henry, who graduated from a prestigious university, and you, from a small community college, were never a good match. And yet, you're so bold to work when you should be grateful just to be married. Even though I wanted to talk to Henry, he started coming home in the morning instead of at night. I asked him, Henry, are there really that many company drinking parties? Who are you drinking with all the time? He dodged the question, saying, you don't need to know. Couples need privacy. Something felt off about his words and actions. One day, on my way back home, I realized I'd forgotten something at the office. When I went back, I saw Henry walking arm in arm with an unfamiliar woman. I immediately texted him, Henry, are you still at work? I need to talk to you. Can you come home? He quickly replied, I can't come home. I'm busy with work. I knew he was lying. When he came home in the morning, I was waiting for him in the dark room. Welcome home, I said. Wilma, he said, surprised to see me. I told you I had something important to talk about, I replied. He muttered, can't it wait until tomorrow? I'm exhausted from work. I held up a photo I'd secretly taken and asked, is meeting women part of your job? His face darkened, but he quickly retorted, this is your fault, too. If you were a better wife, I wouldn't be out with other women. I tried to stay calm, but my voice wavered with anger. What? That's no excuse for cheating. He said nothing, and his silence made me even angrier. I asked, frustrated, I do most of the housework, and I've been doing my duties as a wife. So, what's the real issue? He said bitterly, it's because you became so full of yourself after your promotion. I was stunned. What? He continued, his voice thick with resentment, I'm angry because you're acting so superior now that you've been promoted. You're not even that good at your job. You only got promoted because your boss likes you. Don't let it get to your head. That's when I finally understood why his behavior had changed. He was jealous that I'd been promoted before him. If that was the problem, he should have worked harder himself. I'd done nothing but support him, and with every word, I lost more respect for him. He kept justifying himself, you said you do most of the housework, but everything you do is subpar. The house is dirty. The food is awful. I cheated because you're a terrible wife who can't do her job right. His smug expression made my blood boil. I've had enough. If that's how you feel, let's just get a divorce, I said. I quickly packed my things and left. The next day, I signed the divorce papers and sent them to him, then found a new place to live. A few months later, I received that fateful call from Mrs. Thompson. After I told her about the divorce and the cheating, she still tried to blame me. My son isn't to blame. Henry would never cheat. If he did, it's because you weren't a good wife. I couldn't believe she was parroting Henry's words. I responded, even so, there's no excuse for cheating, is there? She went silent for a moment. I then said, by the way, thank you for calling today. She was perplexed. What? Why are you thanking me? I explained, I wasn't sure where to send the reminder letter because Henry had moved out. She was confused. Reminder letter? I replied, when we divorced, I filed for $50,000 in compensation, but it's still overdue. At the mention of compensation, her voice faltered. Before she could speak, I continued, I didn't want to involve you, but now that I know where Henry is, I'll deliver it right away. I could hear her panic. Wait, Henry just had surgery yesterday. Please don't do anything that'll hurt him. I remained calm. Even if I don't take action now, he might run again. She pleaded, wait, we need to pay for the surgery. We can't afford to pay the compensation. Henry doesn't have much saved up. I have to pay for his surgery. I suspected Henry had used his savings for his affair, but that wasn't my problem. His actions had consequences. She said, then tell me the name and address of the woman he was seeing. Henry will definitely leave you for her. Maybe she'll help pay. I replied, that's not going to happen. She asked, why not? Because his affair partner is married, too. And even though the affair came out, they didn't divorce. They already paid their share of the compensation, so I doubt they want anything to do with Henry anymore, I explained. She said, unbelievable. I stayed calm. I'm going now. She urged, wait. Come right now. She begged, please, wait. But I hung up. I went to the hospital and handed Henry the reminder letter. He was lying in bed, exhausted from his surgery. His voice was pitiful as he pleaded, Wilma, I've been lost without you. Can't we start over? Mrs. Thompson chimed in, that's right, Wilma. You can work as much as you want now. You can help Henry, who can't work while recovering. I was disgusted by their selfishness. I came here to deliver the reminder letter. If you keep refusing to pay and making excuses, I'll take this to court, I said, and turned to leave without waiting for a response. The mention of court seemed to make her act quickly. She immediately transferred the $50,000 in compensation to me. A colleague who had overheard everything at the hospital spread the word, and soon Henry's reputation as a cheater was all over the company. He couldn't handle the shame and resigned. He moved back in with his parents, tried to find a new job, but only aimed for high-paying companies, leaving him unemployed for months. He couldn't even pay his mother back and ended up working as a day laborer to make ends meet. As for me, I was finally free of both Henry and his mother. I threw myself into my career and got another promotion. I felt more fulfilled than ever, not just for myself, but also for my boss and my senior who had helped me grow. I vowed to continue facing my work with sincerity.